Hi, I'm Billy Berghammer from G4TV.com, and we are very blessed today to be with a very good friend of G4TV, Dr. Ray from BioWare. How's it going?
Excellent. How are you?
Good. Good to see you.
Great to be here.
First off, you know, the big announcement that happened this week, you guys working with Mythic. Now, can you explain more of what that whole announcement is, and what does that do for you as your role?
Sure. I mean, basically, it's a partnership between Mythic and the BioWare studios. You know, they're continuing on really strong, and they got great teams in Mythic, and we got great teams at BioWare. So I'm incredibly excited to be able to work with such innovative and you know, important teams at Electronic Arts, and it's really bringing together some of the best of breed RPG and MMO teams in the industry, and get to work with them, and I'm really excited about it.
So now, do you play Warhammer, and what does this mean for the future of Warhammer?
Yeah, I do play Warhammer. It's a great game, and we're not making any new announcements today about the future of the franchise. But I can say that I spent a couple of days out in Virginia this week, and I'm really impressed with the team there. And the game is great, and there's lots of cool stuff coming in the future. So it's definitely an important product for Electronic Arts. So how much does that mean? Are you going to be overseeing how the whole Warhammer game moves in the future? Well, basically what's been formed is a role-playing game MMO group, and I'm the group general manager. So Rob Denton's the general manager at Mythic, and he reports into me, and the BioWare studios continue to report into me as well. And I get to work with a great team at Mythic, and I'm really excited about it. So what's Paul Barnett's role going to be then, moving forward? Paul Barnett? Well, he's the creative director at Mythic. Okay. And that's going to continue on moving forward then? Oh, yeah, great guy. Awesome. Any chance that you guys would like to see like a Mythic BioWare co-developed game in the future? Well, we have nothing to announce on that front now, but I can say that one thing that's going to definitely happen is a lot of collaboration, a lot of partnership, a lot of discussion between the teams, and it's already been happening, and I think it's going to really fuel that and enhance it and make it even more frequent. So I'm excited about that, and the teams at BioWare are excited, and so are the team at Mythic. So now it's relatively new that BioWare is part of the EA team. You've gone through 2 E3s so far. How's that relationship been? It's fantastic. It's always a learning experience, I think, when you join a new company to kind of learn the processes and learn more about the people and how everything works. But I'm more excited now than ever, I can honestly say, to work at EA, and BioWare's doing great. We're having a great time working with EA. The folks at EA have treated us extremely well. We're part of the team now. It's fun to be part of a publisher, to have more direct contact with the fans. It's fun to have partners within other studios that you can talk to, and a really close partner now with Mythic, of course. But all the other studios at EA we talk a lot with as well, and get to share best practices and tools and technology, and just have ideas. And it's just fun to be able to go to a trade show and be able to see people that are on your team, that are your friends and partners, and just be able to talk about what your challenges are, and work together to solve them. I'm curious, how big are you guys now? I mean, you guys really seem to expand quite a bit. Yeah, well, we have a bunch of teams. Again, it's a great honor for me to work with so many great people at both BioWare and Mythic. We have, I manage 4 studios now. There's BioWare Edmonton, BioWare Austin, BioWare Montreal, and Mythic. And, they're all fantastic people, and they all do different things. And, the projects we have in development are pretty amazing. It's a big honor to work on them all. Like you saw Dragon Age Origins today, of course, coming for 360 and PS3 and PC October 20th this year, and North America October 23rd in Europe. We have Mass Effect 2, which is coming along really well. It's going to be for sometime early next year. We haven't announced a specific date yet, but it's coming along really well for 360 and PC. In Edmonton as well, we're doing some small games work on the iPhone. We just launched our first iPhone app, Mass Effect Galaxy, and boy, that's cool. It's a cool system to develop for. We also have some other stuff that super secret hasn't been announced yet in Edmonton, and Montreal is supporting the Edmonton studio, working on Mass Effect 2. Lots of cool stuff coming from Montreal in the future. Austin, of course, is doing Star Wars: The Old Republic, big MMO in the Star Wars universe. LucasArts is our partner. Things are going really great there, so very excited about that product. And Mythic is doing some cool stuff. The Dark Age of Camelot support, Ultima Online, and Warhammer Online. Lots of cool developments in the future from all the studios I get to work with. So do you sleep? I mean, you have like 50 million different projects in development. I mean, do you clone yourself and then just send a bunch of you out and then like cover everything? I mean, good news is how do you keep it organized? Well, we have great teams to work with. There's strong leaders at every studio. There's strong exec producers who manage every project. I have great operational support from all the teams, and they make every day fun. And I get to be strategic. I get to play great games, which is for me is my passion. So I couldn't think of a better job to have, honestly.
Now, speaking of Mass Effect, when Mass Effect came out, there was the big controversy about how sex is portrayed in games. Now, what did you learn from that and take forward with Mass Effect 2 and even with Dragon Age?
We'll see. Mass Effect, in terms of the relationships, you mean more so?
Yeah, but you know how CNN had the big scandal. This is a big sex game, whatever.
Fox, I think.
Or Fox, whatever. Yeah. The same. Anyway, well, kind of. But anyway, like, I mean, what did you take from that, and how do you portray those sort of relationship elements, you know, moving forward?
Well, you know, we're not shying away from anything. You know, as you know, from playing our games in the past, we've always had relationships that could lead to friendship or romance or hostility or people betraying you or, you know, leaving your party. Those have always been part of a BioWare experience. You know, and the narrative that we have in our games, the great digital actors that are really compelling characters that you believe are real and credible. And if anything, we're just enhancing that. We're just striving always to push the envelope and make each game better than the last, and higher quality fidelity of characters and an emotionally engaging narrative. And I see relationships and potentially relationships can lead to romance as part of that emotionally engaging narrative. The sort of part of the possibility space of things you would expect to have happen when you're interacting with characters that are credible in a realistic, deep, rich world. And Dragon Age has it, Mass Effect 2 has it, you know, most of the games BioWare has, and probably Mythic in the future will have it too. So it's an exciting thing to work on, that you know, to have characters that make you feel something. And the emotion is really the key. That's what I'm talking about, is really all of our games have that emotional depth, and they make you feel something at the end of the day.
Actually, looking at the trailers that you showed at E3, you had Marilyn Manson music. You know, you seem to be, instead of shying away from the violence and some of the relationship, you know, sexual things, like you seem to be like, here, we're still doing it. We're not afraid of it.
Very much.
You know, how involved with the trailer process are you guys, you know, with putting together things and saying, okay, this is what we want to show, this is what we want to portray?
Well, I mean, the teams that build the marketing assets and all the PR and that, they're part of my team as well. So they're all embedded in the group, in the studios. So BioWare has dedicated PR and marketing people, so does Mythic, and they're great people, really talented. And you know, with Dragon Age, the marketing you saw, I think if anything, we're just trying to make sure that everybody knows about what a great game this is. You know, the mass market is going to find this game compelling and exciting and accessible. And our core fans, the fans that have been with BioWare for years, they're going to love it. You know, this is a deep, rich fantasy experience. It's dark, heroic fantasy. It's kind of like the reinvention of fantasy, is the way we're looking at it.
Now, you're building, I mean, Dragon Age looks great. We just saw the demo. I think it looks fantastic, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. But now, you're saying it's a spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate. Now, Baldur's Gate came out years and years ago, and now you have a new generation of gamers. How are you, you know, trying to get that game in front of people, and, you know, to the new crowd that isn't used to the Baldur's Gate? They might have played KOTOR or Jade Empire, but they're not used to this kind of game. How are you presenting that to them?
Well, it started, I think the vision, the core vision is, we describe sometimes as the spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate, and it's definitely true. We've achieved that, and we've exceeded that. So I'm really proud of the team, because they've done that and so much more. It's more than just a game. It's more like a franchise. It's a platform with a ton of post-release downloadable content. It's going to be available for purchase post-release. We're releasing tools so the fans can make content as well. You know, it's obviously in 3D. You get to change the view perspective, go behind the shoulder, go top down, so you can play it isometric or behind the shoulder. It's really accessible on console and PC, and really deep and rich. So it's more like, when we say spiritual successor, it's more like this, you know, the feeling it makes you have when you play it. Is that there? But you know, all the bells and whistles, you know, the high-res graphics, the beautiful spell effects, the rich world to explore that, you know, you can play for a long, long time. Really high quality, really high value for money. It's all there. So,
you know, you guys still support Baldur's Gate. So gamers should be able to expect this on the PC. What about the console? Are you guys working with Sony and Microsoft to be able to have the mods and that kind of DLC on the console experience as well? Yeah, our goal is to bring the post-release downloadable content we make to all the platforms. Make sure the fans get that long tail and feel like it's a platform they can play, and just kind of have the experience continually grow and expand. And I think they're going to be really satisfied, because we've got a long plan ahead for post-release support. And we're exploring ways to bring some of the fan-created content over to the other platforms as well. Obviously, it's easier on PC, because we can get the tools out in the fans' hands. They're already out in beta forms. The fans are
are working away and making all kinds of cool stuff for each other, and it's exciting to see that. And maybe we can bring some of that to the console systems. We'll have to work, obviously, with Microsoft and Sony. Some of those details still have to be worked out to make that happen, but I'd love for that to happen if we could.
Well, now Epic has tried to do it with Unreal Tournament. They could do it with Sony because Sony's more of an open platform versus Microsoft. Valve's complained, when I talked to Gabe Newell at E3, he's complained about the fact that Microsoft's really tight with Xbox Live. Do you think you guys will be able to break through that with Microsoft, or do you think it'll be more on PS3 versus 360?
I don't know. Microsoft's been a great partner to work with over the years. As you know, we worked with them on Jade Empire and Mass Effect, and we're talking actively with them about all kinds of cool stuff we're doing in the future as well. So, I think they'd be excited to see it happen. And obviously, some technology hurdles we have to jump together with them through, and make it work. But we'll see where it goes.
Now, one of the things that you were showing in the demo today was the amount of different choices. Now, gamers that have played BioWare games are used to the fact that there's always many choices in the game.
Yeah.
Have you come up with some final number that, if you play through it X amount of times, you'll be able to actually experience everything in the game?
I don't think it's possible to count how many choices you get to make and the permutations of those, because it's just too big. I go to a limb here and I say it's probably the biggest game BioWare's done in terms of just the size and volume of content and just the sheer expanse of the world since Baldur's Gate 2, which was a pretty big game. And our games tend to be on the larger side and really good value for the fans and really high quality. And Dragon Age is no exception. It's going to be when it comes out, I think people will say it's the best game we've done to that point. Mass Effect 2 is beyond that, so we're always striving to push the envelope, make that even better. The Old Republic beyond that, some stuff for Mythic in the future coming out. We've got lots of great stuff in the pipe.
Excellent. Now, towards the end of the demo, you touched on what the hero's journey is. Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, well, we haven't announced this in detail yet, but one of the things we're excited about is the ability to surface things to the social networks and like communities, and just sort of taking your player's experience and kind of showing the key moments in time as they develop and unfold, and allowing players to see those choices and consequences of their actions happen, and bring them and show them and make them visible to one another. So maybe you can save key moments in time where you did it this way, they did it this way, and kind of then compare your hero's journey against one another. So I think that kind of thing is really exciting. It's a way to make this game an online-enabled, offline, single-player experience.
Now, is this something that you'd like potentially to tie in with Facebook Connect or even Twitter, for example?
We haven't announced that, but it'd be safe to say if we're looking at social apps, you'd probably want to look at some of the bigger ones. So, we'll leave it there.
Are you a Twitter guy?
Oh, yeah, we have a Twitter at BioWare, and we do Twitter feeds. I check the Twitter on various things at various times. But yeah, I love Facebook as well. As you know, I'm on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Do that a lot.
I've sent him messages. It's true. So now, some of the big things that came out of E3 this year were, Sony's motion control and Project Natal from Microsoft. What do you think of those things, and are those elements that you'd like to bring to BioWare games in the future?
I'd be really excited to explore those, and all the console systems have really cool things in development. The Wii is obviously a cool system. We've talked about how we're interested in exploring that in the future. We haven't announced anything on that front yet, but Natal is also cool, and the motion controls on the Sony are cool. I mean, I think there's so many possibilities now what you can do that make the game more accessible. But the key, I think, is to look at the possibility space the platform enables, and then make a game that is aligned with that, rather than take a game and kind of retrofit it and kind of jam it in there. So if we did something on those systems, so I haven't announced anything, but if we did, I think we'd want to look at them and kind of say, what kind of person would want to play this? What kind of experience would they be looking for? And how can we make that as high quality and as interesting and innovative as possible?
So one of the trailers that, I think the trailer that blew me away the most at this E3 was The Old Republic.
Cool, thank you.
Have you shown that game to George Lucas? And what has he said about the game if you showed it to him?
I haven't shown it to him personally, no, but I know he keeps his finger on the pulse of everything that LucasArts is working on, so I know he's involved in it. I've talked to him about the project in the past, and I know he's excited about it. But I can't say what he thought of the trailer because I don't know for sure that he's seen it, but I imagine he has because he's very involved with the development side of things. But we have great partners that we work with at LucasArts, and they've been very supportive, and they collaborated through the process of development, and again, it's a great partnership.
So Galaxy's left a really poor taste in a lot of gamers' mouths when they, with all the changes that they had and a lot of promises. Do you think you guys are going to be able to break out of that mold, and what do you think you need to do to combat WoW?
Oh, wow. I mean, I'm a big fan of Blizzard, and the World of Warcraft is a game I play myself, and a lot of people at BioWare do as well. So So if anything, we're never really seeing other games as competition per se in a way. It's strange to say that, but I think we're just always striving to make the best damn game we can, and the fans will decide what they want to play. And I think there's room for some great games to exist together, particularly the quality of the games that Blizzard makes and BioWare makes. I think that they can definitely be things that would be complementary. We're doing things that World of Warcraft isn't doing, which I'm excited about. I mean, we're obviously in the Star Wars universe, thanks to our partnership with LucasArts, and we have narrative and a strong fourth pillar of story in addition to exploration and customization, progression, and combat. So I think we're really doing something that's pretty innovative and unique, and the fans are going to embrace that. And I could say the game is really fun to play. I'm playing it right now.
When is there any time frame that you guys are trying to target for some sort of a beta?
Yes.
Okay.
We haven't announced it yet, though. But
of course,
yes,
obviously,
there is a time frame, and we will be announcing something at some point. So, and we're excited to get the fan feedback too, because that's one of the most important things you can do in an MMO, either Bio or Mythic, is to get that fan feedback and just embrace it, make sure you listen to it, and our fans mean everything to us.
So, are you going to be pulling stuff from the Mythic guys and trying to incorporate that into the Old Republic?
Probably not directly, but I mean, I think the fueling of ideas and just collaboration and the back and forth, the best practices, and getting them to play the game, and vice versa. Having the Bio or Austin folks play, and Edmonton and Montreal play the Mythic games is going to really lead to some cool things. So it's gonna just accelerate everything we do. So I'm excited about it.
So now you haven't been shy about. I mean, you've obviously started in the PC and console space, but you've also messed around with the DS. Now you're on the iPhone. What excites you about the iPhone as a platform for games?
I guess I play it myself quite a bit. I travel with the iPhone, and I buy a lot of games on iTunes, and I check out all the different variety of things, and it's just a fun platform to use. I think the user interface is unique and differentiated. The touch screen, the accelerometer, and just the variety of other things. The connected thing if you're using an iPhone versus an iTouch. There's a lot of things that platform affords in terms of game development ideas. But again, it's about looking at the platform and saying, what can you do that's unique and differentiated and stands on its own and stands out against the competition?
So what are you playing in your free time right now, if you have any free time?
I'm mostly playing BioWare games right now and Mythic games. We have, as you mentioned earlier,
that nobody else can play except for you.
Yeah, well, that's one of the perks, I guess, of the job. So it's fun. There's so many things in development. There's so much fun. And there's so many areas to give feedback on right now that it's a great job to have.
So I guess in closing, I just moved to LA, and I've noticed there's a lack of facial hair here, and I've been thinking about growing like a really wicked mustache and beard. Now, your partner, Greg, has the coolest facial hair of all time. Any tips that you could give me if I want to grow like that kind of awesome facial hair?
You'd have to ask him. He has he's gone through various evolutions of it. He has sometimes a handlebar mustache and kind of like twirls it, and that's very frustrating to watch. But I've contemplated growing a beard or goatee or something like that, but unfortunately my wife won't let me. She says like facial hair is right out, so I can't do that. But you can always ask Greg sometime.
I'll have to do that.
He's happy to talk about that at length.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have to hook up with him sometime. But hey, thank you very much for your time, and
Thanks,
good luck with Dragon Age, and I look forward to seeing everything you guys have coming in the future.
Thank you.